Good afternoon. I'm Evan Jaramello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome, Evan.
Thank you.
All right, tell me a little about you, Evan.
Well, my name is Evan Jaramello. I'm currently studying computer science at St. Xavier University. I'm working towards a Bachelor of Science. I will be graduating in May of 2013. So my life story basically is I've been working with computers since I was very young, about the age of 7 or 8. And from then, I've just gradually, continually progressed my interest in computers. I've built my own computer personally. I just go home and research new technology, new computers. All of my classes, I've achieved great understanding of computing in. My past work experience also has helped me in my field of computing. I feel that I am a very hardworking, studious individual, and I really hope that we can work something out here.
What's your focus? Are you in programming? Are you in security, networking, servers?
At the moment, I'm kind of just looking to see what really interests me. I have a broad range of ideas.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about a project that you worked on that failed?
Project that I worked on that failed. During one of my database classes, during one of my database classes, we had to work on a project specifically to design a database for a kind of what our professor gave us was a mock CD company. So while we were working, we had 1 or 2 team members who were not cooperating how they should have and not doing the work that was assigned to them. So unfortunately, some of the assignments were in late. However, they were done not on time, but they were done correctly. And the professor understood that all the work was there. So, however, we were penalized for it being late. I did have to take leadership of that opportunity to make sure that all the work was in on time, though. Well, not on time, but.
How would you have handled that differently?
Maybe.
If you could have.
Try to buckle down and not necessarily intimidate them into doing work, of course not, but maybe if they needed help with it, I don't know what the reason, they didn't really give me a reason as to why they did not get the assignment done on time. However, I think maybe I could have worked with them more.
Okay.
To try and help them get the assignment in on time.
Okay. How about talk about a project that you completed successfully?
How did we complete it successfully? It's kind of funny because that project had different phases. That one phase was, of course, one that did not go well, but we kind of kicked ourselves into gear after that, and the following phases we got in on time, and the professor was very pleased with our work after that.
What steps did you take that were different than the first time?
Well, we realized after the first time that obviously this isn't going to work, so we really had to change our approach. So we decided to start meeting up more regularly. We set a schedule to make sure that we can meet on time, and we collaborated more on our work.
What was your role in that again?
Well, we all were basically designing the database, so we all didn't actually have a specific role. Rather, we were all collaborating, working on this one database.
Okay.
So at some points I had to take over as leadership because some people didn't want to do the correct assignment.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your problem-solving skills.
I consider myself pretty good at problem solving. I like to organize myself very well to the point where if something arises that maybe shouldn't have been there, I do my best to get through it in a sense. I look at it from different perspectives. I will jot down notes about it. Basically, it all leads back to my organization, making sure that what needs to be done will get done.
Okay. Do you take particular steps to solve a problem? If you do, can you talk a little bit about them?
Well, I try to get a basic overview of what's going on. I try to look at it from a further perspective rather than what's going on. Instead of panicking, I try to realize what needs to be done, and I kind of do simple steps to make sure that it gets done rather than trying to do it all at once.
Okay. I noticed you're the vice president of your computer science club. What
Correct.
did you have to do as vice president?
As the vice president, I was in charge of pretty much getting the events organized. The Computer Science Club, we host events to get computer science students more close together. We even invite outside students, not only computer science students. So we had a LAN party, for instance, which is basically a bunch of people gathering together to play video games and just have a good time, have some food. What I had to do is I had to get in charge of advertising. I had to set up the night of the LAN party. There were a lot of responsibilities as far as taking control of what's going on at the actual party. So I was a big benefactor there.
You're working on that, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I noticed that Joe Harris, Paint and Hardware, your information technology administrator, what did you do there?
Basically, I just assisted my coworkers with the computing field. The store's been around for about 50 years now. So before I got there, it was very basic. We handwrite receipts. We basically had no technology. So since I got there, I pretty much brought them into the 21st century. I got them to purchase new internet. Something as minuscule as that, they were still on dial-up, unbelievably.
Okay.
But if there was a computer issue, which we ran into a lot because they still had an old computer, I was able to resolve it. They bought a new printer. I had to set up printers. I also held and taught them how to use the computer. They weren't very knowledgeable about the whole technology era that we're in right now.
I notice you're still working there. What's your succession plan
Right.
if you were to begin working with us?
Well, obviously, I would. Can you rephrase the question?
What would you do? What, do they have someone to replace you if you were to leave?
Oh, okay.
A succession plan.
As of now, no, they do not.
Okay.
Obviously, I would have to give them notice of my departure, but I feel like I set them up properly where I made everything pretty user-friendly where they can easily go on without me.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with me?
Would you like my preferences?
I'll take your reference. Thank you. Why should we pick you?
I feel like I'm a very hard-working candidate. I buckle down. I make sure all of my work gets done. I'm very dedicated. I'm not afraid to step up and take work that isn't necessarily mine. I feel that I can work whenever's needed. If it were to be overtime hours, holiday hours, something like that, I could definitely do it. I'm very organized.
One of the things that I'm not noticing is what is your technical acumen? I'm not seeing how technical you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to talk a little bit about a project that you worked on that tells me where your technology levels are at,
Mhm.
what experiences you've had.
Okay, well, during my time, I had a summer internship at Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, and during that time, I was working specifically with production support analysts, and what was going on at the time was the company was really focusing on moving ahead in times, so they were moving out of a ticketing system and moving into a brand new ticketing system. So behind the scenes, what people didn't realize was that I was working diligently trying to make sure that we were able to get everybody accustomed to the new system. So not only was I working with the employees and the people at the association, but I was also working behind the scenes, working on the various aspects of the new system as opposed to the old one. The new system was more of a web-based interface as opposed to the old one, which is more of a software-based interface. So,
We good?
We've only got 8 minutes and 53 seconds.
All right, we can ask more questions. What experience do you have with servers?
I do not have any experience with servers.
How about networks?
I don't have much experience aside from a course in networking.
Okay. And what did you do in that course?
Well, we worked on various aspects of networking, just the basic terms and stuff like that, and we also worked on subnetting.
Okay, so did you build your own networks?
No, we did not.
Did you ever build a network at home?
No, I did not.
Okay. Do you do any programming?
Yes, I do.
What kind of programming?
I learned Java programming language,
Okay.
and I had 3 courses of Java, and we developed various programs, whether it was from building a simple game to something more complex, and making a sort of program for just like a generic I'm not sure how to explain that.
Just a program.
Right.
Okay. So what do you do for relaxation?
I like to relax at home, sit on the internet, research new technology, things like that. Maybe play a game here and there.
What's the newest technology you've learned about?
Well, the Raspberry Pi, which isn't exactly new, or that is a very interesting piece of technology.
What is it?
I've been researching. It's basically a small microcomputer. It's very user-friendly. Even they're mostly pushing it towards younger children. I've also been focusing on like new cell phone technology and various gadgets that people
So
use in their everyday life.
do you have experience troubleshooting mobile technologies then?
I don't necessarily have experience with it, aside from what I've self-taught myself.
And that is,
Just the basic ins and outs of the phone, basically.
okay. All right. Can you tell me a little bit about your weaknesses? Where do you see yourself most challenged?
When it comes to my weaknesses, I seem to be very nitpicky about the details, which can lead to me spending too much time on something that might be too minuscule. But I feel like in the long run, it would benefit me. If a problem were to arise, I would know exactly where it was, because I've taken the time to take the notes and take the basic details of where that would be.
Okay. How about your strengths?
I consider myself very organized, very hardworking,
Okay.
and I consider that because in my past experiences with, such as Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, I kept notes daily on everything I did there.
What is the most major achievement you're proud of?
My most major achievement will probably be the fact that I'm graduating from high school, since I am going to be the first person in my family to graduate from, or college rather, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll be the first person graduating from college in my family.
Okay.
I feel like that's a big thing to overcome.
Okay. So where do you, now that you're the first in your family, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Working for a company. Hopefully we can figure something out and work something out. I like longevity, so I plan on settling down in one location.
Good.
Conclude.
Yeah. Can I have a business card, please?
I don't have one. But I will get you one, make sure
Okay.
you got my contact information, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for talking with me today. Gotta work on the handshake.
Yeah.